So hello everyone and welcome to Love, Consciousness and Healing. This channel is dedicated to enriching lives, and today we have a very beautiful and divine soul here with us. Please welcome Sadhviji. So to begin with, my first encounter with her was after the Ganga Aarti when I sat in the satsang with her. And honestly, I had so many questions in my mind, but just in her beautiful divine presence, I was completely blank and mesmerized, and all my questions were gone. But it is also important for you guys to get your answers, and this is exactly why we are having this interview with her. So my first question to you is, the name of our channel is Love Consciousness, but most of us are in body consciousness. So how do we transform from being into body consciousness to love consciousness?
Beautiful. Love is an energy. It's a power. When we experience love, the easiest way to get into love consciousness is to think about someone you love. We all have someone we love, whether it's a spouse, a parent, a child, a good friend, a grandparent. It even could be the tree in our backyard. But think about that being you love. And then what you'll notice is that the experience of love takes place within you. Even if that being you love is hundreds of miles or thousands of miles away, you're still able to feel the love, right? Imagine that your husband, wife, parent, child gets in the car and drives to the grocery store or to school or to work, or gets on an airplane and flies off to some other country. Well, you're still able to feel the love for them. It's not that they're 10 miles away so you feel less love. 100 miles away you feel even less love. 10,000 miles away you can't feel it. No. Regardless of where they are in physical proximity to us, we feel the love. And what that teaches us is that the experience of love, the energy of love, that Shakti of love, is actually inside of us. And this is really important because otherwise kabhi-kabhi humko lagta hai कि अगर मैं किसी को प्यार करती हूँ और फिर वो मेरे से नाराज है या मैं उनसे नाराज हूँ या वो मेरे को छोड़ देते हैं, they stop loving me. We start to feel like that love is not accessible to us. Like I need that person in order to feel love. But what we realize when we do the experiment that I just gave you is जिसको हम प्यार करते हैं वो चाहे बहुत नज़दीक है physically, चाहे बहुत दूर है physically, वो प्रेम की शक्ति जो है, प्यार की शक्ति हमारे भीतर में है. It's inside of us. And so what that means is that चाहे वो हमको प्यार करते कि नहीं, doesn't matter. Our love for them is still on within us, that power of it. And so once we realize that, मैं आपको kadam se kadam tak, I'm taking you in these steps into that love consciousness. So first is we realize that love exists inside of us. Even the object of our love is far away, still we feel it. Whether they love us anymore or don't, still we are able to access that love because it is inside of us. Then what we realize from that is अगर प्रेम की शक्ति हमारे भीतर में है, then we go, okay, well, so what is it that's deep inside of me? that doesn't vary minute to minute, moment to moment. It's the soul. It's the spirit. It's divinity. It's consciousness. See, our feeling states, happy, sad, excited, nervous, these are feeling states and they constantly keep changing. Get a chocolate ice cream cone, I'm happy. Chocolate ice cream cone falls on the floor, sad. Right? Just like that. Someone gives me something, a nice present. I feel very happy, satisfied. Somebody ignores me. I feel very dejected, frustrated, dissatisfied. These are feeling states. They constantly change. Love is not a feeling state. Love is not an emotion. When you really love someone, you could still be mad at them, but you still love them. You could be sad with them, but you still love them. Love does not fluctuate when it's real. And so then we ask ourselves, well, if it doesn't fluctuate, if it's not a feeling, if it's not an emotion, if it's inside of mitohekya, the only answer of that which doesn't change, doesn't fluctuate, doesn't depend on where I am, where someone else is, that isn't dependent on paristiti, but is dependent on my swastiti only, my internal world, well, that's consciousness. So love is a power, and in order to connect with that power, we make a decision to live in that consciousness. It's just a matter of focus. I can either focus externally or I can focus internally. I can turn my head to the right or I can turn my head to the left. In the same way, to access love consciousness, I turn within and I feel that experience of love within me. I feel that power of love within me. And then when I open my eyes, I make a very conscious decision that that is the space I'm going to move through the world in. It's up to us to choose love. Every minute, every moment, however other people are treating us. Baki log jo bhi kar rahe hain, जिस तरह से हमको ट्रीट करते हैं, जिस तरह से हमसे बात करते हैं, we have the power. क्योंकि मैंने कहा ना, love is a shakti, it's a power. We have the power to live in love, to choose love, regardless of the external world. And that power becomes our spiritual power. It becomes the power that fuels our life. And it's the most powerful power we have.
Also, ma'am, when we say we want to come out of body consciousness, is it important to practice a process, or just reminding ourselves every day that we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are not this body, we are not this mind? Is that good enough, or it takes a long time to come out of that identification with the body all the time?
So, in Sanskrit we have a term, abhyas. In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna emphasized to Arjuna, abhyas, abhyas. It means practice. Now, when we practice, we become more and more anchored, more and more grounded. So yes, we absolutely have to practice shifting our focus. It's like I said, I can turn either right or left. I can look this way or that way. Well, in the same way, I can focus externally or internally. I can focus materially or spiritually. So the world of matter, what you're speaking about as body consciousness, says I am this body. The world of matter says I am matter. That's what I am. I am a physical body, a physical size, shape, color, a history. This physical body has been through its history, what's happened to it. And I move through the world as that. And if I move through the world like that, then this body ends here. We have this empty space. You begin over there. Then there's empty space. She begins over there. We are separate. Spirituality says, I have a body, but I'm not the body. There isn't actually anywhere I end and you begin. This idea of empty space between us, this idea that I am somehow a solid mass of matter, this is an illusion. And we know that it's an illusion not only spiritually, but actually scientifically. If you look at any of our bodies under an electron microscope, you're not going to see where this arm ends like this. You're going to see whirling, twirling electrons and energy and space. It's actually what we are. We're energy and space. So science is slowly catching up actually to spirituality of what we've been saying for thousands of years. But so shifting from this body consciousness, this material consciousness, is just practice. Every time you identify as the body, as the role, as the story, or you identify others as their body, as their role, just stop yourself. It's like in meditation, we're meditating, we're focusing on our breath, we're focusing on a mantra. Then our mind wanders. Then suddenly we're thinking about lunch, or we're thinking about our shopping list, or some conversation that we had yesterday that didn't go as well as we would have liked. Well, the moment we notice that, we just bring the awareness back to the breath. In the same way, we focus on spirit, soul, love. And then when we find ourselves distracted into, oh my God, I'm so fat, I'm so thin, I'm so dark, I'm so pale, I'm so beautiful, oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I wish I had this, wish I'm not rich enough, not popular enough, not successful enough. The minute that we drop into jealousy, competition, greed, lust, these are all rooted in body consciousness, material consciousness. The moment we notice that's happened, just draw the awareness back. Bring it right back into your heart center, to that heart chakra. You may even want to just take your hands, place them over your heart, and it allows the awareness to come back. And as you meet people, instead of looking at them of, are they pretty, are they handsome, are they not, are they fat or thin, or rich or poor, instead of looking at people like that, see whether you can see the divine in them. If you can, that's going to start bringing you into this love consciousness. When we say namaste, namaste literally means the divine in me, the presence of love, spirit, soul in me, bows to that divinity, that presence of love, soul, spirit, consciousness of you. So don't be just like, oh, namaste, 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 haan, kaise hai, bilkul theek hai. But really, really try to bow from that place of spirit in you to the place of spirit in them. And this is abhyas. And you'll get better and better at it as the time goes by.
I remember few years back, I was just sitting and meditating, and for the first time I experienced that I'm not this body, and the only thing that I felt was this consciousness. But I was so young that I got scared and I came back in my body. It was the most beautiful experience, but since then I haven't been able to go back to that experience. So should I be looking for that experience, or should I just wait for it to happen again?
Both. It's beautiful that you've had it. The yearning for that is beautiful. That part of us that calls out to God, to the divine, to merge, to melt into it. That's a very exquisite spiritual calling. You want to cultivate that. But along the way, what you realize is, in my eyes open, moving through the world day, I can create opportunities for that experience. Okay, maybe it hasn't happened again in my meditation yet, but as I move through the world, can I have loving meditation where whoever I meet, I use that as an opportunity to connect with that love in me, to connect to the love in them. Hug trees. Hugging trees is one of my most favorite spiritual activities. Just because, you can't really go around hugging strangers. People may take it the wrong way. So you have to just have the love experience in your heart rather than actually necessarily in your body or your words or your affect, because people could misunderstand, especially as a beautiful young woman. But trees never misunderstand, and trees are, especially old growth, beautiful ancient trees, are these embodiments of, these transmitters of divine presence. And just hug trees and feel your heart merging with that presence of divine love in the universe. I've had some of my most ecstatic moments of divine love hugging trees. And then, when you meditate, just come back to your heart. Come back to your heart center. Hold those hands over the heart. And feel it, as you inhale, you can feel that heart just expand, breathe into the heart. And you'll feel it again. You'll feel it, you'll find it.
So my last question to you is that the equation of life we understand is that happiness lies within. But when I talk to my friends who are into different kinds of addiction, they will always argue, but a fag does it very quickly for us. A drink does it quickly for us. So how long does it take for any spiritual seeker to experience that bliss, that happiness that we're talking about that exists within?
Beautiful. Well, first of all, anybody who tells you that a drink actually makes them happy is either lying to themselves or lying to you, or both. It doesn't. Alcohol is a central nervous system depressant. That is chemically what it does. It actually depresses our central nervous system functioning. That's why they say don't drive cars, don't operate heavy machinery. It's why you feel very, drowsy. It's why you get hungover. It is not stimulant. It is a depressant. Now, when it depresses the central nervous system, one of the things that happens is our inhibitions leave us. So if I'm someone who's very, very shy and I drink alcohol, that inhibition might leave and I might find myself, doing wild and crazy things that I really regret tomorrow. It's not an actual happiness. And it makes me sad when people say that, because I say this as someone who's had alcohol. I mean, I've been in India since I was 25. I've been a sannyasi since I was 29. But the first 25 years of my life, I was in Los Angeles. My journey, as my new memoir is titled, was literally Hollywood to the Himalayas. So the first 25 years of my life, I really, it's a been there, done that experience. I had a Los Angeles upbringing in which by the time you're 25, you've really seen it all, done it all. And so I know what drinking alcohol is like. I'm not just saying this as a theoretical situation. It only makes you feel happy if you are trying to convince yourself that it makes you feel happy. And it only makes you feel happy if your experience of happiness is so shallow, that simply losing your inhibitions to be wild and crazy, if that's a source of happiness for you. But that's not true happiness. That's not real happiness. All it's done is it's chemically changed my brain in such a way that my nervous system is depressed. I say and do things that I regret later. I get dizzy. I get sleepy. It's not happiness. So we tell ourselves it because we don't know another way of living. So if all I know is alcohol and drugs, I'm going to say, yeah, they make me happy. Nahi to karun kya? Otherwise, I'm just resigning myself to saying, well, to chalo, I'm going to be miserable. So I said, kam se kam isse mere ko khushi milta hai. But the truth is, khushi nahi milte usse. Kisi se honestly pucho. Alag se pucho. Doesn't actually bring happiness. The most it gives you is a temporary escape from your present awareness. But all that means is that your present life is something that is so difficult for you that simply to be unaware of it for a few hours in and of itself is theoretical happiness. But that's no way to live. Because of course you just come back to your life. But now you're hungover. And now you've done things you regret. So instead of that, what spirituality gives us is an actual happiness. And it doesn't take a lot of practice. It may take a lot of practice to be able to get it on demand, whenever, wherever, for however long you want it to last. Yeah, that takes some practice. But to simply have the experience is something that so many people have. Every night here on the banks of Ganga at Parmarth Niketan, in our Ganga Arati, people are in ecstasy. In ecstasy. I see the faces and the eyes of people in satsang after the Arati as they're leaving. They're in such a state of joy, such a state of bliss. Many of them are people who have never meditated. But because the environment, because the experience is one of deep spirituality, we're all able to tap into it. We experience it in having a Ganga snan. You'll experience it in hugging a tree. There's so many ways to have that deep spiritual happiness. Now, it may not last for hours and days, but that's where we then develop a meditative practice to be able to access it more and more, deeper and deeper. And again, yeah, abhyas takes practice. But at least at the end of the day, you end up with something that actually works, rather than hangovers, a lot of things that you regret, addictions, and liver disease.
So it was a lovely conversation with you, Sadhviji. Truly feeling blessed. What is the way that our audiences can stay connected with you?
So many ways. So to stay connected in person, come here to Rishikesh, to Parmarth Niketan, and it's where I live, it's where I'm located, and would love to see you in person. You can go to my website, which is sadhviji.org, just sadhviji.org. You can also go to my YouTube channel, which is also Sadhviji, my Instagram page, which is also Sadhviji. So website, YouTube, Instagram are all just Sadhviji. The website, of course, is .org, and on Facebook is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati. Hopefully you'll be able to get all of those written in whatever people are reading when they see this. Yes. And we do live satsang every night here, streamed live from Parmarth Niketan after the beautiful live Ganga Arti. And we stream that live also on my YouTube page, on my Facebook page.
Also, I've heard there's a book that has been compiled of your question and answer, if you could tell.
There's a book called Come Home to Yourself. It was published by Penguin and it's available. You can go to amazon.in and get it. Come Home to Yourself. It's a compilation of actually questions from satsang on everything ranging from how to find peace and joy, how to remove negative thoughts and negative habits and behaviors and patterns in our life, how to get along with family members, questions on meditation, questions on spiritual paths, so many different questions.
Wow. I can't wait to read the book.
So that's something that everyone can get on amazon.in.
Thank you. So friends, with this we come to the end of our episode. We had a lovely conversation, a divine conversation with Sadhviji. So if you guys have liked this video, please make sure that you like the video, leave us a comment, and of course subscribe to our channel. This is me, Surabhi, signing off. Namaste.